Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you a question. Have you ever noticed how the smallest things in life often bring the biggest changes? A tiny seed grows into a massive tree. A single drop creates ripples across an entire lake. In the same way, one small habit can completely transform our lives. We often wait for big opportunities, big changes, or big breakthroughs, but the truth is, life changes when we start practicing small habits consistently. Today, I want to share with you how just one simple habit can bring extraordinary results and how it can truly change your life forever. When we talk about the power of consistency, we are talking about the invisible force that shapes our future without us even realizing it. Imagine a drop of water falling on a rock. The first drop makes no difference. The second, still nothing noticeable. But as the drops keep falling day after day, week after week, year after year, the hard rock begins to change shape. That is the power of consistency. Our lives work exactly the same way. Most people give up because they don't see results immediately. They start a new habit, they wake up early for a few days, they eat healthy for a week, they practice gratitude for a month, but when they don't see massive results instantly, they feel discouraged. What they forget is that real transformation happens gradually, quietly, almost invisibly at first. Consistency is like planting a seed. You cannot expect a tree the next morning. You water it daily, protect it, and nurture it, and only then does it begin to grow into something strong and lasting. Consistency builds momentum, and momentum builds results. Think about brushing your teeth. Doing it once doesn't change much, but doing it every day protects you from decay. Think about exercising. One workout won't make you fit, but regular workouts change your body, your energy, and your confidence. Think about meditation. 5 minutes of silence one time may not bring peace, but daily practice calms your mind and changes your entire perspective on life. Success is not about doing extraordinary things once. It is about doing ordinary things consistently. Even if you spend just 10 minutes a day reading a good book, over the course of a year, you will have read several books that could completely change your mindset. Even if you save a small amount every day, by the end of the year, you will have built a habit of financial discipline. Consistency creates trust within yourself. When you promise yourself you'll do something daily, and you actually do it, you start to believe in your own word. That is the foundation of self-confidence. On the other hand, when we break our commitments to ourselves repeatedly, we lose respect for our own promises. That's why the small daily act of showing up, whether anyone notices or not, matters more than we think. Life rewards the consistent, not just the talented. Talent might open a door for you, but only consistency will keep it open. We live in a world where people are chasing instant gratification, instant results, instant success. But the truth is, anything instant rarely lasts. It is consistency that makes achievements meaningful and sustainable. Look at nature. The sun rises every day without fail. The seasons follow their rhythm. The rivers flow, the trees grow. They are consistent. And that is why life on earth continues. If we learn to bring the same principle into our own lives, even in the smallest ways, we will see transformations that are bigger than we ever imagined. So, when you think of building a new habit, don't focus on how big it is or how quickly it will change your life. Focus on being consistent with it. Even if it feels small, even if no one notices, even if you don't see results immediately, keep going. Because every single day you repeat that small act, you are laying one more brick in the foundation of a stronger, wiser, and more successful you. Consistency is not glamorous, it's not exciting, but it is the secret ingredient behind every lasting achievement. When we talk about habits, most people see them as actions, things we do every day, like waking up early, exercising, reading, or eating right. But the truth is far deeper than that. Habits are not just about what you do, they are about who you are becoming. Every habit you practice is a silent vote for the type of person you wish to be. When you choose to read even one page of a book daily, you are not just reading, you are becoming a reader. When you choose to exercise, you are not just working on your body, you are becoming a healthy and disciplined person. When you choose kindness in your words, you are not just speaking politely, you are becoming a compassionate human being. The shift from action to identity is what truly changes your life. The mistake most people make is focusing only on results. They say, I want to lose weight, I want to get rich, I want to be confident. But results are temporary, identity is permanent. If you only chase results without changing your identity, even if you achieve them, they will slip away. For example, someone might diet for a month, lose weight, but then go back to their old ways because deep inside, they still see themselves as someone who struggles with health. But if they begin to shift their identity and start believing, I am a healthy person who takes care of my body, then every action they take will flow naturally from that identity. This is why the way you see yourself matters more than what you do occasionally. If you constantly tell yourself, I'm lazy, I'm not disciplined, I'm not good enough, your actions will align with that identity. But if you begin to tell yourself, I am disciplined, I am consistent, I am capable, then slowly your actions will rise to meet that belief. Change begins not with forcing yourself, but with redefining yourself. That is why people who succeed long term are those who don't just focus on what they want to achieve, but on who they want to become. Think of it like this: a smoker who is trying to quit may be offered a cigarette. If he says, no thanks, I'm trying to quit, he is still identifying as a smoker who wants to stop. But if he says, no thanks, I don't smoke, he has already shifted his identity. One small sentence shows a huge difference. The first is struggling against his old self. The second has already embraced a new self. That is the power of identity. This is why small habits are so important. Every single time you practice them, you are casting a vote for your new identity. When you write daily, you are telling yourself, I am a writer. When you pray daily, you are telling yourself, I am a spiritual person. When you save money regularly, you are telling yourself, I am financially responsible. Slowly, the more votes you cast, the more that identity becomes your reality. It is not about perfection, it is about consistency in proving to yourself who you are. Your identity is like the roots of a tree. If you only water the leaves, the tree may look green for a while, but will wither soon. But if you nurture the roots, the tree becomes strong and unshakable. In the same way, if you only focus on external achievements, they may not last. But when you nurture your identity through habits, the transformation is deep, strong, and lasting. Life changes when you stop asking, "What do I want to achieve?" and start asking, "Who do I want to become?" So, every small habit you practice is not just shaping your schedule, it is shaping your character, your future, and your destiny. When you realize that habits are not just actions but identity, you will stop fighting with yourself and start aligning with the best version of yourself. Motivation is a wonderful feeling. It makes us excited, it gives us energy, it makes us feel like we can conquer the world. But here is the truth about motivation. It is temporary, it comes like a wave, it rises, and then it fades. One day you feel like waking up early and exercising, but the next day you feel too tired to even get out of bed. One day you feel inspired to write, to study, to work, but the next day you feel like postponing everything. If you rely only on motivation, your progress will always be inconsistent, because motivation depends on your mood, your circumstances, and your emotions. But discipline is different. Discipline is what carries you forward when motivation disappears. Discipline means showing up whether you feel like it or not. Discipline means doing what is right, not what is easy. Think of a student preparing for exams. At the beginning, motivation is high, they make a timetable, they feel inspired. But after a few days, the excitement fades, distractions come in, laziness creeps in. If they rely only on motivation, they will give up. But if they have discipline, they will still sit down to study every day, even on the days they don't feel like it. And those are the days that actually build their future, because discipline keeps you steady when motivation disappears. Every great achiever in history was not just a motivated person, but a disciplined one. Athletes do not win medals because they felt like training every day. They win because they trained even on the days they hated it. Writers do not finish books because they were always inspired. They finish because they sat down at their desk even when the words were not flowing. Successful people in every field have one thing in common: they do not depend on moods, they depend on discipline. Motivation is like the spark that lights the fire, but discipline is the wood that keeps the fire burning. Without wood, the fire dies, no matter how big the spark was. Similarly, without discipline, even the strongest motivation will fade away. That is why, if you want lasting change in your life, you cannot wait for motivation, you must build discipline. Discipline is not about being hard on yourself, it is about being committed to the bigger picture. It is about remembering why you started and continuing the journey even when the road feels long. There is also another hidden benefit of discipline. Every time you practice it, you strengthen your willpower. Willpower is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. At first, it feels hard to say no to distractions, to wake up early, to stick to your plan. But as you repeat it daily, it becomes a natural part of who you are. Over time, discipline becomes easier because it becomes part of your identity. That is when you no longer have to push yourself. You simply live in alignment with who you are. The most powerful thing about discipline is that it frees you. People think discipline is restrictive, but in reality, it gives you freedom. When you have discipline with your health, you enjoy the freedom of energy and vitality. When you have discipline with your finances, You enjoy the freedom of security and independence. When you have discipline in your work, you enjoy the freedom of opportunities and growth. Lack of discipline may feel like freedom in the short term, but in the long run, it leads to regret, stress, and limitations. True freedom is born from discipline. So, while motivation may give you a push to begin, it is discipline that will take you to the finish line. If you want to transform your life, stop waiting to feel motivated every day. Decide to be disciplined. Decide to show up for yourself even when it is hard. Because it is in those difficult moments, when you keep going without motivation, that you build real strength, real character, and real success. The way you think about life determines the way you live your life. Mindset is like the lens through which you see everything around you. If the lens is dirty, no matter how beautiful the world is, it will appear blurry and unpleasant. But if the lens is clear, even simple things will look bright and meaningful. This is why two people can face the same challenge, but one becomes stronger while the other gives up. The difference is not the challenge, it is the mindset. A positive mindset turns obstacles into opportunities, while a negative mindset turns opportunities into obstacles. When you develop empowering habits, you are not only changing your actions, you are rewiring your mind. For example, if you practice gratitude daily, you train your brain to focus on what you have instead of what you lack. Slowly, your perspective changes. You stop comparing your life with others and start appreciating your own blessings. This single shift in mindset brings peace, joy, and contentment that no material thing can buy. Similarly, if you practice learning something new every day, your mind develops a growth mindset. You begin to believe that your abilities are not fixed, that you can always improve, always grow, always evolve. With this mindset, failures no longer discourage you because you see them as lessons, not as the end of the road. The power of mindset is so strong that it can even influence your physical reality. Science has shown that people who think positively and practice optimism often recover faster from illnesses, handle stress better, and live longer lives. This is not magic. It is the effect of the mind on the body. When the mind is filled with hope, the body finds strength. When the mind is filled with fear and negativity, the body feels weak and tired. That is why nurturing a positive mindset is not just a mental exercise, it is a complete lifestyle transformation. Our habits are the tools that shape this mindset every day. If you start your day with complaining, your mind learns to find problems. But if you start your day with meditation, prayer, or reflection, your mind learns to find peace and clarity. If you surround yourself with negative people, your thoughts will be poisoned with doubt and fear. But if you surround yourself with uplifting voices, your thoughts will be inspired with hope and courage. The environment you choose, the words you speak, the thoughts you feed your mind, all of these shape your mindset. There is also a great secret here. Your mindset shapes not only how you see life, but also how life responds to you. A person who believes in abundance notices opportunities that others miss. A person who believes in kindness receives kindness in return. A person who believes in failure as the end rarely tries again, while a person who believes in failure as a stepping stone eventually succeeds. Life is constantly reflecting the energy of your thoughts back to you. That is why you must carefully guard your mindset as you would guard a treasure. Shifting your mindset does not mean ignoring reality or pretending problems don't exist. It means choosing to see beyond the problem and focusing on the possibility. It means refusing to let circumstances control your inner world. You may not always control what happens to you, but you can always control how you respond. That response is born from your mindset. A storm may come into everyone's life, but some will drown in it, while others will learn to sail through it. The storm is the same, the sailor's mindset is different. If you want to change your life, you must start by changing your mindset. Change the way you think, and you will change the way you live. Change the way you look at challenges, and you will change the way you overcome them. Change the way you look at yourself, and you will change your entire future. A positive, disciplined, and grateful mindset turns even the smallest habits into powerful forces of transformation. It is not the size of the habit, but the mindset behind it that creates the big results. When you begin to live with this awareness, you will realize that the greatest power you have is not in your circumstances, but in your thoughts. Energy and focus are two of the most valuable resources we have, yet most people spend them carelessly without realizing their true power. Every day we are given a certain amount of energy, like a battery that gets recharged overnight. How we use that energy determines the quality of our life. Some people waste it on worrying about things they cannot control, on gossip, on endless scrolling, or on chasing distractions that bring no growth. By the time they reach the middle of the day, they feel drained, unmotivated, and restless. Others, however, protect their energy like a treasure. They invest it into meaningful habits, into growth, into relationships, into purposeful work. The difference between these two types of people is not luck or intelligence. It is the conscious choice of where to direct energy and focus. When you build small, positive habits, you are actually training yourself to use your energy wisely. Imagine starting your day with a short meditation or exercise. It may seem like a small act, but it clears the mental clutter and boosts your energy. Instead of carrying stress and negativity into your work, you carry clarity and calmness. That one habit changes how you respond to challenges, how you interact with people, and how you make decisions throughout the day. In the same way, if you learn to focus on one task at a time, instead of jumping between distractions, your efficiency multiplies. Most people think they need more hours in the day, but the truth is they don't need more time, they need more focus. Focus is the magnifying glass of the mind. When the sun's rays are scattered, they feel warm but harmless. But when those same rays are concentrated through a magnifying glass, they can ignite a fire. Your mind works in exactly the same way. Scattered thoughts create confusion, but focused thoughts create breakthroughs. 1 hour of deep focus is worth more than 5 hours of half-hearted, distracted effort. And the beautiful thing is, focus is not a gift, it is a habit. The more you practice it, the stronger it becomes. Energy and focus are also deeply connected to your physical and emotional habits. If you eat junk food every day, your body feels heavy and your mind feels dull. If you sleep late and scroll endlessly at night, your mornings are filled with fatigue instead of freshness. But when you take care of your body with good food, proper rest, and movement, your energy naturally rises. And when your energy is high, your focus sharpens. That is why discipline with small daily habits, like sleeping on time, drinking water, taking care of your health, is not just about physical wellness, it is about mental clarity and emotional stability. Another important aspect is protecting your focus from distractions. We live in a world where attention is the most valuable currency. Every notification, every advertisement, every message is competing for your focus. If you do not take charge of it, your mind will be scattered in 1,000 directions. That is why successful people are intentional about their environment. They switch off distractions when working. They create spaces for deep thinking. They practice habits like journaling to clear their mind. By doing so, they conserve their energy for what truly matters. Think of your energy and focus as water flowing through a channel. If the channel is full of leaks, the water will never reach its destination with power. But if you block the leaks and direct the flow, even a small stream can turn into a mighty force that moves mountains. Your habits are the walls of that channel. Every good habit you build strengthens your ability to direct your energy, while every bad habit creates leaks that waste it. That is why the little things you do daily, reading instead of scrolling, exercising instead of procrastinating, reflecting instead of complaining, decide how powerful your energy will be. When your energy is high and your focus is sharp, life feels lighter. You are not constantly tired. You are not pulled in 100 directions. And you are not living in survival mode. Instead, you feel aligned, purposeful, and productive. Small habits that conserve and direct energy may look simple, but over time they completely transform the way you experience life. They give you the strength to handle challenges without breaking, the clarity to make wise decisions, and the ability to pursue your goals with unwavering determination. So if you want to change your life, don't just think about what you are doing. Think about how you are using your energy and where you are placing your focus. Protect them, train them, and invest them in the right places, and they will reward you with results far beyond your imagination. One of the greatest challenges in life is not just building new positive habits, but breaking free from the negative ones that hold us back. Negative habits are like weeds in a garden. You may plant beautiful flowers and trees, but if the weeds are not removed, they slowly spread, steal the nutrients, and choke the life out of everything good. In the same way, our negative habits, whether they are patterns of thinking, speaking, or behaving, slowly drain our energy, damage our relationships, and prevent us from growing into the best version of ourselves. The most effective way to deal with them is not just by trying to stop them with willpower, but by replacing them with empowering habits that bring light where there was once darkness. Think about someone who is trying to quit the habit of constant complaining. If they only try to stop complaining, they may succeed for a while, but soon frustration will build and the habit will come back. But if they consciously replace every complaint with gratitude, something incredible happens. The mind, instead of focusing on problems, begins to focus on blessings. Slowly, the old habit of complaining dies not because it was forced out, but because it was replaced with something more powerful. This principle applies to every area of life. If someone wants to quit gossip, They can replace it with the habit of speaking words of encouragement. If someone wants to quit wasting time online, they can replace it with reading or learning. The energy that once fueled negativity is redirected to positivity, and transformation takes place naturally. The truth is, the mind does not like emptiness. If you only try to stop a habit without filling that space with something else, the old habit will sneak back in. That is why replacing negativity is far more powerful than just resisting it. It is like removing a thorn by planting a flower in its place. Over time, the beauty of the flower ensures the thorn never returns. Replacing negativity also requires awareness. Many people don't even realize how negative their daily patterns are. They wake up and immediately check the news filled with fear. They scroll through social media, comparing themselves with others. They surround themselves with people who speak words of doubt and criticism. These habits slowly shape the way they see the world and themselves. The first step to replacing negativity is to become conscious of it. To notice the patterns, the triggers, the environments, and the voices that feed it. Once you see it clearly, you gain the power to change it. It is also important to be patient with this process. Negative habits are often deeply rooted. They may have been formed over years, even decades. Expecting them to disappear overnight only leads to disappointment. But with small, consistent steps, they can be replaced. A person who has lived with anger for years can slowly learn patience by practicing deep breathing when triggered, by reflecting before reacting, by replacing anger with empathy. Each time they choose patience instead of anger, they cast a vote for a new identity. Over time, the old habit loses power and the new one becomes natural. Replacing negativity is not only about personal habits, it is also about the energy we allow into our environment. If your surroundings are filled with negativity, it is like trying to light a candle in the middle of a storm. You must choose carefully who you spend time with, what you watch, what you read, and what you listen to. Every voice you allow in is either feeding your negativity or nurturing your positivity. By surrounding yourself with uplifting influences, books that inspire, mentors who guide, friends who encourage, you make it easier to replace the negative with the positive. There is also a spiritual dimension to this. Many negative habits are tied to deeper emptiness in the heart, feelings of fear, loneliness, or inadequacy. When those inner voids are filled with purpose, faith, and love, the negative habits lose their grip. That is why people who anchor themselves in higher values often find it easier to replace destructive habits with constructive ones. Their strength does not only come from willpower, but from a deeper source of meaning that sustains them. So the journey of replacing negativity is not about fighting against yourself, but about gently redirecting yourself towards something better. Every time you replace criticism with kindness, worry with trust, laziness with action, or doubt with hope, you are not only changing a habit, you are reshaping your character. Over time, these small shifts create a life filled with peace, strength, and joy. And one day, you will look back and realize that the habits which once chained you no longer have any power because you replace them with habits that set you free. Gratitude is one of the simplest habits to practice, yet it has the power to completely transform the way we experience life. Most people live their days chasing what they don't have, focusing on what is missing, and constantly comparing themselves with others. This endless pursuit creates stress, dissatisfaction, and unhappiness. Gratitude, however, shifts the focus. It teaches us to look at what we already have and appreciate it deeply. When you practice gratitude daily, you begin to see life not as something lacking, but as something abundant. It changes your perspective from scarcity to sufficiency, from complaint to contentment, from emptiness to fulfillment. Imagine waking up in the morning and instead of rushing to your phone or worrying about the day ahead, you take a moment to thank life for giving you another day. You thank your body for carrying you through the night. You thank the roof over your head. You thank the people you love. This small act sets the tone for the day. Suddenly, the little inconveniences that used to bother you so much lose their power because your heart is already full. Gratitude creates a shield around your mind that protects it from negativity. It doesn't remove life's problems, but it makes you stronger in facing them because you are no longer starting from a place of lack, but from a place of abundance. Gratitude also has a profound effect on relationships. When you appreciate people, you strengthen the bond you share with them. A simple thank you, spoken sincerely, can change the atmosphere of a home, a workplace, or even a friendship. Many relationships fall apart not because of big conflicts, but because gratitude is missing. We take people for granted, forgetting that love and kindness need to be acknowledged. By practicing the habit of expressing gratitude, whether it is thanking your parents for their sacrifices, your partner for their support, or even a colleague for their help, you create an environment of respect and warmth that nurtures deeper connections. Science too has proven the power of gratitude. Studies show that people who practice it regularly are happier, less stressed, and even physically healthier. Their minds are calmer, their sleep improves, and their immune systems become stronger. Gratitude is like medicine for the soul, and it costs nothing. The only requirement is awareness, the willingness to pause and recognize the blessings that are already around you. But here is the beautiful truth about gratitude: the more you practice it, the more reasons life gives you to be grateful. It is as if gratitude opens the door to abundance. When you complain, you attract more reasons to complain. But when you appreciate, you attract more reasons to appreciate. Gratitude is a magnet. It pulls positivity toward you. Even in difficult times, if you can find just one thing to be thankful for, you will find the strength to keep moving. A grateful heart can endure storms that an ungrateful heart cannot survive. Gratitude also connects you to something higher than yourself. When you bow your head and say, "Thank you," for life, for nature, for the opportunities and challenges, you cultivate humility. You realize that not everything is under your control, that many blessings come not by your effort alone, but by grace. This humility keeps you grounded and peaceful, reminding you that life is a gift, not an entitlement. The best way to make gratitude a habit is to practice it deliberately. At the end of each day, write down 3 things you are grateful for. They don't have to be big. Sometimes the smallest things carry the greatest joy: a smile from a stranger, a meal you enjoyed, a quiet moment of peace. Over time, this practice rewires your brain. You stop looking for what is wrong and start noticing what is right. Gratitude becomes your natural response to life. So when you think about small habits that can bring big results, gratitude stands at the top. It costs nothing, it takes only a few moments, but it has the power to heal your heart, uplift your spirit, strengthen your relationships, and fill your life with joy. A grateful person is never poor because they see wealth in the simplest of things. Gratitude doesn't give you a new life, it helps you see the beauty of the life you already have. And when you live with that awareness, you discover that happiness was never far away, it was always within you, waiting to be unlocked through the simple habit of saying, "Thank you."